Hi warriors, welcome back to my channel. It's Sami and my channel is Have You Smiled Today. Today we're going to talk about affirmations and how it's so important for our mental health. Now, I don't know if you pray, if you're religious. If you do, then you already practice affirmations, because when we say a prayer and we pray to God, we're essentially affirming our faith, right? So, if that's you, that's great. But today I wanted to talk more in conjunction with what it does for our mental health. So I'm not an expert. I'm not any kind of medical professional, but I can tell you what it means to me, and hopefully that will resonate. Affirmations to me is repeating positive statements until we start to believe them. Now, why is it so important? Because it helps counter the negativity inside our brain. Our stress levels spike, the sadness we hold on to, or even worse, the hopelessness that kind of dwells in us when we're depressed. Now, let's take a step back and understand, where we are and how this can kind of fit in, how it can help. When we when we are depressed or anxious, I mentioned this in a previous video, we are inherently negative. That means our brain struggles to find good things. Our brain struggles to remember good things from the past. Our brain struggles to find good things about ourselves. We might be doing 99 things right every day and maybe one mistake. And when you're sick in the brain, your brain will focus on that one mistake and make you feel like poo. That's the reality of, being unwell. But in reality, you've done all these other things amazingly well, or done them better than you've done before, and yet your brain doesn't give you credit. And this is where the affirmations would come in. You need to positively affirm what you have done well today. For your brain to start believing it, you have to do it over and over again. You have to do it every day. But no, don't think it's like some big exhausting factor that you have to do all the time. No. Eventually, you don't have to. You will change. You will feel better. You wouldn't need to do it anymore because your brain already now believes this is who you are. This is how you function. This is what you've accomplished. No, you're not a failure. So, what if you made a mistake? That's totally cool. Everybody makes mistakes. You are not your mistakes. You're not defined by your mistakes or your failures, right? So, this is what affirmations do. They start installing in our brain almost like a new software, and it starts downloading all this new information about how you should perceive yourself, how you should perceive your day, how you should practice gratitude. That's what it does. Once the software is downloaded and you click on the exe file, what happens? It loads up and then you start using it all the time. And once you use it all the time, it becomes you. It becomes your habit. And then you don't have to think about it anymore. Now, why is it so hard to find this kind of positivity when we're anxious or sad? Our brain essentially is ruled by hormones. And, depending on what kind of condition you have, your stress hormone might be really high, like cortisol. And your relaxation hormone, like serotonin, might be really low and it may not produce as much. When you positively affirm all these good things about yourself, all these good things about your life, even if there's a handful, still repeat those, affirm those, practice those, because even that will help you. Even that will tell your brain that you have all these things to be grateful about. Now, there's the key concept that I've been dying to talk to you about. It's called brain plasticity. One of the biggest overwhelming factors, whether you have anxiety or depression, is that you feel like it's going to be forever. And it's not. Your brain tells you this lie. It feeds you this misinformation or alternative facts. And it tells you this because that's the comfort level for the brain. That brain wave has already been created, and so it wants to stay there. It doesn't want to get out of its comfort zone, start thinking something new, believe something new, because he has to create a whole new frequency for that. That's where brain plasticity comes in. It's literally rewiring your brain. Your brain, no matter how old you are, is capable of recreating, creating, capable of creating new frequency, new brain waves, new circuits. It's an amazing muscle. And you can literally develop it just like you would your biceps. But you have to do it from the inside out. Okay? If you wait for life to give you all the affirmations for your brain to start feeling happy, that's not going to happen. Life will give you lemons. Life will give you a whole lot of poop. That's what life is. Up and down, roller coaster ride. We might as well get on with a good attitude to enjoy that ride. But if you are waiting for external factors to feed the right affirmations to your brain, it's not going to happen. You have to feed it yourself. If you're waiting for other people to feed you affirmations about yourself, that can happen, and I hope it happens for your sake, but you still need to do it yourself. You need to be wholesome by yourself. You need to tell yourself that you're awesome. You need to tell yourself every day that you're awesome. You need to tell yourself that you're enough, that you're worthy, that you're not a failure, that you are perfect as you are, that you are unique, that you are a blessing. All of the above are true about you. There is no other you. You are on a planet of 7 billion plus people floating around in the universe. And you're sitting here thinking there's something wrong with you. How magical is your life? How unique is you? So trust me, the brain doesn't tell you the truth. The affirmations need to be written down, read every day. They need to be read every day, maybe multiple times a day. So let me tell you what I did when I was struggling. And I really hope that helps you. I was struggling at work. I had bullies at work and I felt really bad. It really haunted me. It was traumatizing for me because eventually I was let go from the job, right? So from bullying to layoffs, it really messed up my confidence. So as a working professional, somebody who holds a master's degree, think about how much self-doubt I had to overcome to start believing in myself and, and start to rebuild myself. I felt like I didn't belong here. I was ready to quit my life in Canada, right? I didn't think I could hack it in here anymore, that I could fit in, I could perform. I had doubts so deep, I didn't think I was going to recover. Professionally, I'm really good at what I do. There's a million different things that I do really well, and there's also things that I don't do really well, just like any other professional. But when those external factors happened, my inside, my brain started believing that to be true. I let that define me. And that was a mistake. And you know what? It's natural. It's normal. I mean, layoffs are damn hard, man. If you've gone through it, losing your job, it can kill your soul. So, looking back, I forgave myself for taking it so hard because I'm a proud professional. As I said, I'm good at what I do. So I did take it hard. But then is when I really started working on myself. I started writing these positive affirmations. I started reading them every day about myself professionally, about myself as a person. And it literally changed my life. Affirmations can change your life. They really, really can. You have to read it every day. You have to write affirmations on everything that you're struggling with. It could be family, it could be work, it could be depression, it could be anxiety. You have to write things about yourself that your brain doesn't believe yet. But in your heart, somewhere deep in there, you feel it to be true. Write that down. Read that every day. Because when nobody else is around and life is poop, you have that affirmation to turn to. Now, before I let you go, one more thing. Affirmation can also be used not just to rewire the brain for the long term. That rewiring of the brain is your path to recovery. So please Don't mess around with it. Practice it, apply it. But it's also really helpful in grounding yourself at the moment of a panic attack or an anxiety attack. So when you are feeling triggered and you're just starting to get overwhelmed or you're already overwhelmed, take out your phone, take out your diary, read your affirmations. It is an incredible way of grounding yourself. There are many different grounding techniques out there, but reading your affirmations when you're struggling the most, having it in your hand at that time, accessible at all times, will really help you, because at that moment your brain is fried. It doesn't believe anything, it doesn't care for anything. All it wants to think is feel like poop, think like poop, everything is poop, and so and so and so, it goes on. Your affirmations at that moment is what your brain needs. It needs something fighting from within to tell your other side of the brain, no, it's not true, to call it out, to stop it in its tracks, and finally, to tell you how you should really feel, how you should really think. Affirmations as a grounding technique have really worked for me. When I was really struggling, I took out my phone, I took my affirmations on my notepad on my phone, and I read it every time I needed, as many times I needed. Eventually, I didn't need to read it anymore. I felt that way every day. Just like I feel good about myself now, that's what I wrote down about myself a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. This is how it works. This is the beauty of affirmations. So I'm going to leave you with a very short few bullet points of affirmations. I'm going to assume that you are depressed. You are struggling. You have just had a really bad breakup and you feel unworthy. You feel like you will end up alone, and you feel like there is no hope for you. If I were in your place, I would have affirmations like this. Being with somebody else doesn't define me. Number 2, I am perfect by myself, for myself, with myself. Number 3, this is a great opportunity for me to find out who I really want, what kind of relationship I really want. Number 4, I love myself, whether somebody else loves me or not. I am enough, I am worthy, and I love myself. If the right person loves me, great. If nobody loves me right now, I still love myself. 5, I don't need somebody else's affection to validate my own entity or my own self-worth. 6, relationships may work out or may not work out. It's the same for everybody. This problem is not unique to me, and it will pass. It's just a phase. 7, I am going to live each day to be happy by myself. If somebody matches my energy, my frequency in this universe, they get to be with me. Otherwise, tough luck on them. Because I'm happy with who I am, how I am, and I'm not going to be anybody else. So you see, these affirmations can really help you kind of redefine how you were looking at things and not dwell on how that relationship could potentially make you feel like a failure, but instead make you feel like a badass. So please, whatever your issues are, have different affirmations for them. Write it down, have it accessible, read it every day, rewire your brain. Do it long run, just like you practice meditation, practice your affirmations, read your affirmations, and then watch how you recover, how you change. Look back and marvel at some of the things you had to write down to remind yourself who you really are. Guess what? You already are that person. Your brain just doesn't let you see it all the time. But doesn't change who you are. You are this badass fighting, always improving yourself. You have nothing but pride to feel and pride to take away. So just remember to practice your affirmations. If you have any questions or if there's anything else I can share, please write in the comments. I'll be happy to connect with you. Other than that, please click the subscribe button so that you can get more videos. And until I see you next time, love, peace, respect.